Hello students. So your topic for today is role of listening, barriers that are related to listening and the remedies to remove the barriers. So when we talk about the role of listening, listening serves a number of possible purposes, and the purpose of listening will depend on the situation and the nature of the communication. To specifically focus on the messages being communicated, avoiding distractions and preconceptions, to gain a full and accurate understanding into the speaker's point of view and ideas, to critically assess what is being said, to observe the non-verbal signals accompanying what is being said to enhance understanding, to show interest, concern, and concentration, to encourage the speaker to communicate fully, openly, and honestly, to develop a selflessness approach, putting the speaker first, to arrive at a shared and agreed understanding and acceptance of both side views. So, these are the roles of listening. Often, our main concern while listening is to formulate ways to respond. This is not a function of listening. We should try to focus fully on what is being said and how it's being said in order to more fully understand the speaker. Now, the barriers of listening is to improve the process of effective listening. It can be helpful to turn into the problem on its head and look at the barriers of effective listening or ineffective listening. So, for example, one common problem is that instead of listening closely to what someone is saying, we often get distracted after a sentence or two and instead start to think about what we are going to say in reply or think about unrelated things. This means that we do not fully listen to the rest of the speaker's message. This problem is attributed in part to the difference between average speech rate and average processing rate. Average speech rates are between 125 and 175 words a minute, whereas we can process on average between 400 and 800 words a minute. It is a common habit for the listener to use the spare time while listening to daydream or think about other things rather than focusing on what the speaker is saying. Of course, the clarity of what the speaker is saying can also affect how well we listen. Generally, we find it easier to focus if the speaker is fluent in their speech and has a familiar accent and speaks at an appropriate loudness for the situation. It is more difficult, for example, to focus on somebody who is speaking very fast and very quietly, especially if they are conveying a complex information. So we may also get distracted by the speaker's personal appearance or by what someone else is saying, which sounds more interesting. These issues not only affect you, but you are likely to show your lack of attention in your body language. Generally, we find it much harder to control our body language, and you are likely to show your distraction or lack of interest by lack of eye contact or posture. The speaker will detect the problem and probably stop talking at best. At worst, they may be very offended or upset. Also, there can be a language barrier. So, the remedies to remove such barriers are: first, you have to clarify the ideas before any communication. Second, you have to communicate according to the need of the receiver. Third, consult others before communicating. Fourth, be aware of the language, the tone, and the content of the message. Fifth, convey things of help and value to listeners. Sixth, ensure proper feedback. Seventh, communicate for present as well as future. Eighth, follow up communications. Ninth, be a good listener. That's all. Thank you.